I am not a financial advisor. These videos are all meant for educational purposes only. All complete Trader Academy videos are my personal opinion and perspective. Trading carries a high level of risk, and all results are your own responsibility. Please always demo first. Hey everybody, welcome back to CTA's Daily Review. Today is October 19, Thursday, 2023. So we had this bearish day. We had news at 12 o'clock, so hopefully you weren't trading then. If you did, you're looking for the big speaker shakeouts. A lot of volatility today, a lot of manipulation. So you want to try to get that shit done before noon. And sure enough, now I'm going to start with this video is going to be, it's a little difficult to explain everything that happened, so I'm going to have to keep it limited. But like when I made this example yesterday, before we close with the video, I said I would like for it to come retrace back up and hit, underneath this pink weekly imbalance, and then somewhere right tap into the, into that wick right there, and then sell off and then come into here. So we got that, but we didn't get it in this manner. We got manipulated. We got I think 2 drives down more first. Like when the price opened up, pretty much hunted and took out the previous day's low, and then retraced. Well, a lot of shit happened. So, but it set up to sell for it coming back down to maybe here, and then retraced with the news. Very volatile because of Powell speaking in New York. So this day is, I think I forgot to mention it yesterday, but so today is you're gonna probably handle it a lot different, right? Especially after the 12 o'clock if you continue to trade. So we'll get into that in a second, but pretty much using it as resistance, like this level here that we keep referencing, which is July 10. Let me go back to this so this makes sense. But look at the way they delivered it. It completely different the way they delivered it. But when we made the video here yesterday, I was saying, I had this possibly as a range here. And then what they did is they brought 2 more drives down, right? All right. So here. Now, where you put your fib here was very key as well. And you have to be able to adjust and see what the different possibilities are. The thing is, it was very manipulative in the point where if I go to a 15-minute, and it's very hard to explain all of this, man, but well, if I was to put a fib, okay, so you see this 15-minute right here, retracing up to here, came back down and came back up. All right, so that's fair delivery. Yes, and the bigger picture, higher time frame, I would leave the fib here, but also we have this. I'm going to zoom in real quick on this 15-minute. Take a look at this. See how this candle wicks back up? So from here, it comes down and retraces. That's 50 as well. So once this candle leaves this high, I'm going to move it now to there. See what I'm doing? So from there, it constantly comes down, and there's no 50 delivery yet. So this is going to explain how I was able to do this today. Not only, we had yesterday the similar context of, selling from its opening gap, right? And we basically did the same thing. I'm going to kind of zoom in here real quick. I'll try to explain Nas too. But, Nas was definitely much cleaner. But if you see it from here on this 5-minute, this is where I put the fib. See right there with that line, see how it comes down only and you don't get 50 yet? So even if I was to drag it from here, yeah, you don't see it. You don't see 50 yet. You don't see fair delivery yet. See that? Until I go here, right? So understanding that London, or pre-New York, I should say, almost brings it up back to the opening gap, right? Just like how we were dancing at it yesterday with this. We had a similar day here, but obviously all this craziness that we had today, it's just a big shakeout. So this was a speaker. So, you drew a line right here, and this was the beginning. This was the formation of the speaker when we made that low. We pretty much did this. And then, remember, if you watch my videos, you'll know I mentioned about imaginary speakers, right, in my head. So this is basically what they did in a manipulated way, and they all did it pretty much. But this idea is that they make drives down to create the bottom of the speaker, and then and then they'll create price above because they're engineering liquidity here, right? So when we're taking this sell, we kind of know that, you know, this is very suspect, especially for an FOMC, not FOMC, I'm sorry, for a Powell's speech today, right? So two news events. You had the news at 8:30 right here, didn't do shit, came back right back, bought up, and took out that liquidity, was still staying in control of these up candles right here. These right here. See how they don't break them? See that? This one they do. This one not. Sorry, this one. See how this candle doesn't get broken? That up candle. See, look to the right, doesn't get broken. Well, here's the thing: you're selling this here, and I'm only good for a couple trades here, and I cannot stay involved in the market because of what. Look at the fuckery that they did today. I mean, as a prime example. So when we understand that we're possibly bearish and we're trying to get into this lower gap here, you see it's. I was mentioning that we would come down to take out that low. See, when I made the videos with all this liquidity here, it was very obvious in a way that it's just too much liquidity. It's too easy. So what they did is they came down and they attacked it. All right, they attacked it, but before they came down, they manipulated it up, down, up, down. All right, I have to show you on this time frame, obviously. So, so keep in mind. Let me see if I can zoom out on the 1 hour. See how that low is right there, but we don't attack it yet. Even before 12, even after this fuckery, we get it all the way after. So what they were doing here was creating liquidity with lower lows, just so that when they finally come down and take them out, that these two pieces, you can see it on the 1 hour right there, right? See how those two pieces right there of liquidity sitting right there, which is right here on the 5 minute. They built that so when they came down to take out that low, they had this two pieces of liquidity involved when they take it. So it's like they tripled their liquidity raid, right? So this is a single raid. That's you know, and then they added this was the main raid, but they added these two pieces right here, which is right here, right here. They added that so when they come down, it's more of a liquidity rate, right? So that's just the only logic how I see this. And how do they manipulate it? Well, I track it with a speaker like this, right? So just forget the speaker for a second, even though that's really what they did. At the end of the day, you also have this fib here retracing, and it's at a 50. See that? See how it's at a 50, barely right there? Okay, and we're just sitting here kind of slamming against it, right? And we're not breaking that high. We're not like, it's not significant movement above. The 930 pushed it up, right? Pushed it up, and this is like your resistance, so to speak, because of also this price action right here. See how this comes down, bounces up, comes down, bounces up, breaks through, and then comes underneath it. Well, then this price ended up controlling for, well, not all day, obviously, and just for the majority of this price action from the open to coming down. So they when they brought the price down, they made a new low, right? So this is at a 50 level. This is a range in itself. From there to there, I'm already at a 50. Now, if you didn't use this level, and this is a little fine tuned to use a fib, technically it should be from here, because this was the last range that I measured from here. This was yesterday. Watch yesterday's video so this makes sense. From here to here to here, that was one range, right? And then when we broke down, finally, this would have been really where the range should start as far as external ranges points go. That makes sense for you, I don't know. But for me, so when this is coming down, I also have the possibility of doing this, right? I bring this down. This is the 345, 350 AM London low. So what they did is they brought the price up. And if you notice here, we're sitting here underneath it. If you use this range from here to here, which is, to be honest with you, to me, this is the right range to use, but it's a long story. It doesn't hit the 50. So if you're expecting it to come here, then you would have been asked out. No, but you have to also use the other confluence. What do you got? Well, we have the open here of our gap. That's this line in between. And then we as far as the quadrants here, we're above the 50, but like, you know, we're not touching that quadrant right there. We're pretty heavy in a sort of speak sense, and then we have a lower objectives. But so the idea is to take this low and break this low and get low, and then on a 1 minute, 3 drives or 3 candles down, and then done, right? After taking this liquidity out, or you could have just took it right there. That would have been the logic here. Now, when the price comes down here, this is a new range. You'd be like, oh, Roland, this, well, now you have a new range. So, and this would be completely makes sense. Damn, there's no way to make these videos shorter. I got to do something different real soon. But, so anyways, price comes down. You're going to have to rewind or put my video on repeat or something. But I'm going to start talking faster. But price is going to come down, break down. Now, this is a range. That's why I'm taking this buy here. Taking this buy to at least what? Hit to a 50 here or into a deeper range. Some liquidity above sitting right there when people sold on this 5 minute. We'll go to 1 minute real quick, man. But, so, and then coming back to, I'm sorry, the weak gap as well. Did I mention that yet? I didn't mention it. That was the purpose of me mentioning. So remember, I'm going to go back to the 5 minute. Remember this zone right here, this is the daily right here gap. But this was the weekly gap, and we came underneath that. So we're seeing underneath it, so to speak, right? And then when I'm taking this buy, the intention is to take it back up to this gap. And that's all I'm really trying to do. And then it'd be done before 12 o'clock and actually before 11:30 and be done, right? So here, as you see, it comes to 11:50. That's a time where you definitely don't want to be in the market anymore. Obviously, price whipsaws down, whipsaws up, and then I'll try to get to that explanation in a second, man. But I'm just giving you the logic of what I was doing here. And then done. So now here's the thing. 12 o'clock comes, shoots the price down, and then obviously you don't want to be in it. You don't want to be in the market unless you're really low, but you really don't want to be unless you're like really positioned up or lower. This would have panned out if I held it, but and what was the goal here? The goal was to come back up underneath this weekly and tap that. But also the goal for me was just at the minimum. This is a minimum target. So what did it do? It decided to come above, and this ended up being, now if you put your fib here, okay, here's the deal. Pay attention to with this. So forget if I'm right or if I'm wrong here. Coming up to here is a minimum for me, but if you decided to hold it, now what would have been the logic to hold this trade up to this liquidity here? Well, obviously there's liquidity from what we sold at the open, and it was, obviously we knew it was suspect. With just too many, look at these too many highs here, right? Too clean, very, very suspect, but could have held, but it didn't. But not with a day like today. A day like today is going to take up the top side, the bottom side, fucking everything, right? So it busted through, right? Price opens up with the 12 o'clock speech, shoots down. Why is anybody trying to buy? Boom, comes above. Where does it come above? Well, remember, now that I have this fib identified like this, and you got to be able to be fluid and move your fib, and you have to do this on your own. This is not something I can teach you. This is not something I can tell you before. You have to be able to do this live in the day, right? But sure enough, why would this have been a better target for me up here? But I'm trying to stay out of it. And before 12, obviously. But what was the purpose of coming up, and why would you want to come up here? Because number one, the 50's right here. Number one. Number two, the liquidity is literally below that 50 mark for fair delivery of this fib, that identifying it from here to here. So where does the price end up going? All right, goes past the 79 a little bit, right? Look right here. See that little low? That little high right there. Well, we first shoot up, and let me explain this real quick. This range that I'm showing you down, leg 1, leg 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? As of now, there's too much to explain, dude. Fuck. So that's that, right? And then going up, what did it go? Going up, what did it do? Okay, look how many legs. This is all one leg. So this was all one leg down. Look at the way they delivered it. Finale comes up. Look at this. All right, you get your little phase 1 here, phase 2. All right, and this is technically like a phase 3 by itself, because when it dips down, it comes right back to this support, so to speak. All right, bounces off. Not a coincidence that it bounces right there, right? Support blocks right there, type of thing. All right, up candle right here, and then hits that and then bounces up. So this is your base, your retrace 1, your retrace 2, your retrace 3, finale. All right, so these are, so when they popped the price up in here, they made a high, and then they made they made a higher low, and then they made a final high. All right, and then that's how they got up here. Okay, then, and we're in a decent place to sell, and this is where I made the video. This is what I was explaining to not have to have happened, you know, after the mark. I wanted this whole leg. I wanted this to happen already, you know, doing this, right? But what did we get? We got the drives down first. They still accomplished the same idea and still came back down all in the same fucking day. But the way they delivered today is going to be different than what you would like. But you should know kind of what's possibly happening. Anyways, getting back to this. So that was the leg up. And then what did they do when they got here? They sold it down. Speaker time. This is shakeout time. This is where they wipe out both sides of the market. Okay, anyone selling, anyone buying. But in general, this became a range, right? So in itself, just follow me here. Retraces, now it sells. This is a new lower low, and that's a lower high. Okay, so if you did this, I would have understood. All right, right there. Follow that. See that? So when the price breaks down, all right, very shallow, takes the, you know, no bodies really closing on this time frame, yes, but on this 1 minute. But other time frames, the bodies don't even close, so it's very shallow. As you can see, the 15-minute here, it just poked down, and then, you know, it's a wick, and then price shot up. Very fast market, obviously. If you were using candle closure entries models, meaning it closes and then you enter, closes and then you enter. All right, rewind this video if you need to. Strength coming down, and then took out that low, retraced all the way back up. And look, it did take out the 100%, but this was, you wouldn't have thought this was a break of structure. We're all coming down. This is just Dow being manipulative, okay? If I were to show you real quick, the other assets, NASDAQ and ES made lower highs, which is obviously cleaner. If you were trying to hold this, that's still foolish in my opinion. I would have took the profit underneath that low if you were trading. Definitely. So, you know, but very cleaner on S&P and NAS, and then Dow. The Dow decided to come up one more time. So that's the little divergence and the crack, and showing you that we're also coming down, right? Lower highs here, which is better. And I personally, I'm probably gonna start trading NASDAQ. I can do a review right now as well, and sometimes I'll do trading on NASDAQ in the background. I don't really talk about it, but what I like about NASDAQ and ES is that they're not as manipulative as Dow. But even though when this pops up, I'm trained with Dow to know that I can still take that as a sell, right? I'm not involved with this market though. But in a normal time, I would be, but not with this shit going on overseas and everything else going on. I'm not interested. You got to play it smooth and safe. You got to take the 1-2 trades. You got to be content and be happy with it. So same idea here. And by the way, the reason why we cracked coming down from here was that we took out NASDAQ. This high right here with this high right here is the same. This high right here. I can't make this up. I'm very familiar with the markets. So I'm not just playing around. This is the same level as that. So I count that as sort of hitting it. Okay? But here, if you look at ES, lower high, didn't touch it. If you look at this, and if you look at I'm sorry, it was this high. Yeah. This high, didn't touch it. This high, didn't touch it. See that lower high? So that's a crack as well. To me, this showing us strength to come down again. All right, and you have to be aware of this stuff. But I have this on another screen. That's why I'm able to know and see it. Anyways, that being said, with that, and dollar's kind of sleeping today. Dollar made a bearish day, but the movement kept us moving. So it's fucking equilibrium right now for me. It's like it can go either way. I don't know. I don't, doesn't stocks don't look good. Dollar still has potential to go up. This could just be consolidating, which I was mentioning this week. I'm like, man, we're kind of consolidating, and we keep seeing signs of that. As you see here, when dollar pushed up right here at noon, we pushed down real quick, and then dollar pushed all the way down. That pushed us all the way up. So this came kind of like a double bottom. This reversed like a peak, and then that pushed dollar back up as we came back up. I'm sorry. We came up as dollar came down, and then we came down as dollar came up, and then again dollar came down as we came up, and then dollar started coming up the rest of the day after it settled its direction, and that kept us pushing us down. All right, so you could see that flow here. That's us pushing us down, right? So in the big picture here, we were really trying to get down in here and wipe out the liquidity of people who were buying here. So, there's no way to make this shorter. So as you see here, there's so much I could mention right now. Damn, but okay, so we came up and we took out that liquidity, but the range was still kind of honored. But in reality, you could have done this as well. So let me just show you this. I'll explain NASDAQ in a second. So if we're using that range still, and then this was that extra lower low right here, then this still would have worked. It still would have panned out. You're sort of still in this range. Okay. So this is to make things more simple. It still pans out. But it's just manipulative. It's just taking fucking liquidity. I mean, if this was NASDAQ, it would have been the lower high would have been here, and the range would have still worked, right? So, number of ways you can use this. I'm sure this is in detail very helpful. But the markets are tough, man. They've been tougher lately. So I'll definitely say that, and that's what's putting me in this box of I'm not trying to trade a lot. I can't because I'm gonna get impulsive. Trying to catch this was hard. It was very difficult. Catching this was very difficult. When you were here, you're probably like, man, that's why you have to have a decent stop loss and you have to make sure you put it at the low, because if you put it at the low, you'll get this bullshit right here that the price keeps jumping in, but it doesn't take out the low. It's very similar to here, like even right here, this little pop up right here. I took a loss here. Well, then the price came down and came back in there. This is a better trade for me now because, well, I've took a loss, but this has purged liquidity. See how it purged right there? All right, little sneaky bastards, but they're really going that way. Same thing here. I ended up catching a loss with this one. I wanted to catch this. This is a 1 minute. I was catching this on smaller time frame. So I can't explain to you what I did and not show you the time frame. But if you don't have seconds, and I'm just gonna have to show you by the minute, then you would have to use the last down candle. So I was hoping to get that here, right? And then I didn't, because we started to get this movement here and I was a little impatient, but price came back down and then it kept fucking bouncing over here. And I was like, bro, you guys are making this really difficult, but this is what difficult looks like. So that being the case, your idea though should be strengthening, knowing that you're coming up to wipe out the people who are selling. At the least, right? To some level, at least 50 to 75% of the range, or whatever. But or 70 to 79%, right? But okay. So that being all said, you wouldn't have been wrong either way. But this is just a speaker. You can't really, you can do as much as you want, like I'm just trying to been explaining right now. But at the end of the day, it was a speaker, and that's how they fucking shook the market out. So, and this is not a normal day. So that just explains it. But big money offered, but you got to be quick and you got to understand this. So this is another learning experience day. And all what they were doing is really just coming up to here and then coming down to here. That's the only fucking thing they were really trying to do. So, but they're shaking out and building liquidity on both sides, and they take it out. So, man, I can't explain NASDAQ right now, can I? I'll try, but and then NASDAQ coming to the higher time frame, they're obviously not done with this big ass massive inefficiency of price with this gap right here. And then this is the weekly chart. This is the daily. You can see it right there. And we tapped into it, and then for them, they retraced back up. They retraced to wipe out all the sellers, wipe out the imbalance of price. They did a good job of doing it. And if you see here on the 4 hour, you could see that this range is clearly defined. If I squinch this up a little bit, you can see, pay attention to this. You can screenshot this, whatever you want to do. But this range coming right back, you can see when we originally came to a 70, and then this price broke down, retraced back up. If you looked at this range from here to here, nice, came into a 70 with the previous week gap sitting there, right? Nice. And then once this broke down, all right, we have, this wasn't fair delivery the whole way down. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. From this range, from here to coming down, you don't see a 50. See how you don't see a 50? This was me dragging the same thing, doing the same thing with Dow, okay? So price comes and retraces, all right? Double bottom right here, shaking people out. This range is still in effect from here, though. And then price reaches up. This is the leg up. Leg comes up into that efficiency on that 4 hour. That's fine-tuned for me. You can see on the daily right here that it would look like that. So it would have been right here technically for the daily. I'll move it. And right there above that high would have been here. Whoops. Why did this move? Yeah. All right, that would have been the daily gap right there. Why don't I just put it on a daily? I don't know why I don't do that. What's wrong with me? All right, so you can see it there, right? With the daily there. See that? So, you know, they're looking at this as liquidity here. They popped into that imbalance there on the daily. They tap it. Their whole goal was to tap that liquidity piece, which I already have it outlined. And then, okay, cool. We got the retracement. That's the retracement for there. And now and they're hunting down for the new leg. And that's really where it looks like where we're at. We didn't end up turning bullish. The price didn't keep going this way, right? The price is now coming this way. So obviously we're leaning towards more being bearish. And taking out this low and on our low as well. And you can see the ranges are kind of clearly defined here. Even when you get to here, you know you're in this control fib here. This retracement from here to here, that's over 50%. From here down back, that's definitely to 88%, but it doesn't break that high. So clean. I don't mind deep retracements. Just hold your retracement. You know what I'm saying? Like if it just stop fucking being so manipulative. And that would help the show, obviously, right? But you have to understand this is part of the game. But I don't mind deep retracements. Just don't crack. You know, keep it simple more. But they get this from this lower high to lower low. They retrace all the way back. Another 88, very deep, but the range holds. And now this is the current range from here. Comes down, boom, pops up right to that 50. See that? So they end up doing the same thing here. And then bouncing in between this previous week gap. In the center of it, you can see the 50% where we bounce from it, right? And then we go underneath it, and then we use it as a resistance, right? So you can see that price action there. But here's the fib here coming back to a 50%. We did that today in NAS, and then they took off. So they pretty much got equal highs with that high right there. But this is a resistance area, and you can see the open here. It's also being used as resistance. The idea of we were kind of going bullish, but then underneath it came and we're bearish weak here, right? That's why you can see this big tail here going on. So yeah, obviously looking very heavy. And then this is where we are. So the lows are in question here and balance here. Or we do bounce from this gap here and it holds as support, and then it bounces up. You know, it's either the price is, now I need to end this video. So the price is either going to hunt here to bounce this way. And I'm talking big picture here also. And if this does not happen, then you might get, you know, who knows? You might get two drives, come back up to here, and then finale. Or you just go straight for it, which is, you know, whatever, pick your poison. So that's that. And then that would be very similar with us. I mean, I don't really see a difference. So same idea with us. Yeah, I know this is messy, but I'm trying to explain it to you guys. So, and I put this fib here also, this range from here to here, just in case this does go bullish. I want to see what levels does this respect. Right now, we came to a 61 if it's going to be bullish, right? So let me just do it this way. But I'm not counting on this. I'm just having it there for ideas. So I will delete this because this is technically the range. I'm in this fib. I'm trying to be holding in this fib, and if it does break lower, now I'm bringing back out this gap. This gap that was here, at the short term, I didn't have it. I had it, but then I deleted it because I just didn't want too much shit on my chart. But I'm gonna keep it there because it's in a way back in play is what I'm trying to say. Because we have that low here, these lows here sitting right above it. So very possible that we hunt for that. So that fib is still in control. Came to a 61, and it's been coming down since. So what we're gonna probably do, either same story with them. So either we're gonna kind of try to come here to then bounce up, like on big picture shit, or even from here, or for us we could buy very very close into this area, right, with this down candles here. So we could bounce from there. If not, right, which I don't expect this to be going on anymore. Not with the way. Not with the way shit's going. I'm gonna have to tip my hand to what do you call it? Where is it? Here we go. Then same thing I was mentioning, maybe popping up into here, and then coming down. Or again, if we don't get this retracement, which we should, if we don't get this, then the motherfucker's gonna try to go right for it. So, that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully this helps. You guys take care. Until tomorrow. God bless.